Okay, welcome back to some solo role manging with Dungeon Crawl Classics, where we are going through a funnel, grave robbers of Thracia, that leads into Caverns of Thracia. And we have a big slew of peasants. We've lost a good number of peasants. I don't really have a running total at this point, but I feel like we've gone through, like, I don't know, 10? Something like that. It feels like a lot. But there's only a few rooms left in this dungeon, so hopefully we don't lose too many more. But we just, if I recall, we just listened at this door successfully. But reading over the description here for 210, I don't think we hear anything. Yeah, I don't think we really hear anything. So we're gonna enter. The stale air of neglect hangs heavy in this austere chamber. Twin rows of narrow triple bunk beds flank the entrance. Time has warped the wooden frames, leaving each berth precariously angled. The tight space between bunks leaves only space for a sideways shuffle, a claustrophobic reminder of the space's utilitarian purpose. The bare floors stretch beneath the beds, conspicuously empty of the usual trappings of military life. No soldiers' footlockers crowd the spaces, no personal effects soften the harsh lines of the room. This absence speaks volumes, hinting at a hasty departure or the impersonal nature of those who once called this space home. This space, designed for efficiency rather than comfort, now stands as a hollow shell, its purpose long since abandoned to the relentless march of time. Again, quite the description. Now, there are some undead in this room. There are 3 undead, 3 more Verkalakis, and 3 ghoul hounds, necrokines. They're kind of hidden right now amongst the bunks. Concealed by the sagging and tilting bunks, 3 Verkalakis observe the PCs. If they're able to remain undiscovered, they will do so, preferring surprise in the capture of intruders. They are aware that a search of the room will reveal their presence and that of their companion ghoulhounds, the necrokines. The ghoulhounds lie beneath the lower bunks below their Thracian ghoul masters. If discovered, the reaction to the Verkalakis will depend on the PCs. They're clad in ancient but well-maintained scale mail. While their gaunt skin is pale, they have an overall semblance of life. So I can't say that we wouldn't search the room, because the last barracks that we searched, we found, like, the directions to the Caverns of Thracia, and we found this vial of liquid. So, assuming that this one's also empty of hostiles, which it looks to be, I don't see why we wouldn't go in to search it. And so, as we begin to search the room, of course, these 3 ghouls are going to come out. So these are not ferals. The other ones that we fought in the entryway, the entry hallway, those were ferals. They dropped down from the ceiling and attacked. It says, unlike their feral brethren, these ghouls are highly intelligent and wholly in control of themselves. So they're intelligent undead. So they're gonna rise out of the bunk beds, clad in their armor. And yeah, this is sort of the interesting thing. They would be kind of curious to see how different players react, because these things don't immediately, like, bear arms. They just kind of look confused a little bit. And they're pale. They look somewhat similar to the creatures that attacked us in the hallway. But they're wearing armor. They have weapons, like, on their side. So I guess it's a question of would we attack? I'm gonna roll a personality for the potato farmer. He's got the highest personality. If we roll a 14 or under. Okay. So, no, we're scared peasants. These things look like the things that attacked us. We are just going to assume this is a ruse. So we're just going to ambush them. We're just going to charge. I don't know if we'd really get a surprise roll for that, but maybe we would. Fuck it, let's do it. We'll give ourselves a D6 surprise. Okay, so we didn't surprise them. So now we're just going to roll initiative, which we have a +0. We crit. Holy shit, that's pretty great. They have a +1. Okay, they rolled a 19. We barely beat them. I think a crit usually just supersedes everything, though, in my opinion. Okay, so we do get an opening volley on these 3 undead. They are wearing scale armor, so they have a 14 AC, and they have 8 hit points each. So it's not going to be an easy alpha strike here. But we're hoping the Beekeeper can really bring the heat here with his spear. You know, he's got pretty good odds. Well, he's got decent odds of one-shotting one of these things. So he's just going to charge forward with the spear, alright? Alright, he did hit. He landed at 17, and he got 6 points of damage. That's pretty solid. So he spears one undead through the chest. Not enough to kill it, but it's very close. It's got 2 hit points left. The beetle is going to swing his longsword. He crit. He got a 7 on the crit table. I wish... Do they have the crit? They don't have the crit tables. I don't know why you wouldn't put the crit tables in the fucking module here for DCC. Like, I feel like that would be really just a nice, easy thing to do. There might be a module for that. Hold on, let me... Okay, so you can buy the core book compendium to put in, which will add all the rules text in. You have a bunch of modules available, but otherwise, no. There's no. Yeah, I mean, I should have just grabbed my copy of the rule book. My physical copy. Here's DCC quality of life. Yeah, we're not really playing with minis too much, so I don't think this would help us a whole lot. Okay. Alright, never mind. I mean, yeah, okay. I gotta reopen all this. Potato farmer, squire. Okay. So, we can just go to the crit table, I guess. He rolled a 7. How is that even possible? Oh, because he gets... No, how did he get a 7? Oh, you add your luck modifier. Really? Yeah, you do. He has +3 luck modifier. It's insane. His crits are nasty. Smash foe's hand. Inflict +2d3 damage with this strike. And break 2 of the enemy's fingers. Dang. Can't even... So he already got the kill, but he does an extra 4. So he did 6 total with that hit. So yes, we slaughter one of the undead. Well, that's good, because the potato farmer and the squire are not as likely to do it. Alright, the second undead. That's a miss. Yeah, miss. Okay. So that leaves 2 undead. And more concerning... The hounds are gonna come out as well. The 3 hounds. That's gonna be really problematic. This is just gonna be a bloodbath now. Alright, so let's do the 2. Yeah, it feels like I'm cherry picking my favorites here, but one of them's gonna target the potato farmer, one's gonna target the squire. They have a bite attack or a short sword, so they actually have they have +3 on the bite, +1 on the short sword. But we'll have them use their short swords. So against the potato farmer, that is actually a miss. Holy shit. And against the squire, that is a hit. 1d6, 6 damage. Goodbye, squire. Alright, so he is dead. Then the 3 hounds are going to leap forward, so they're targeting 1 each. They have +2 on their bite for 1d5 plus disease. So against the beekeeper, here we go. Do we finally lose him? Yep, it's looking like it. 2 damage. That is enough for the beekeeper to die as well. Damn. He was a dream. He was the dream character. He would have been an amazing warrior. Against the beetle, miss. And against the potato farmer, fumble. Little fumble action, huh? So they just roll a d4 on this table. They rolled a 4. See, that doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense. Didn't we see there was a discussion about yeah, there's a separate little book. Which is out of stock. Damn. I wish that was more publicly available. Here's a rough little table. It's a D7 plus the target PC's luck modifier. Okay, so that would just be a D7. Which is a 1. He trips and falls prone. Okay. We can work with that. When I play Tales of Argosa, I follow the very simple rule. Anyone that rolls a 1, the enemy gets a free attack. Which, yeah, I would implement, but I do like that there is a fumble table. Although it can feel really bad for you to just, like, lose your weapon. Like, a fucking sword hilt falls off. The free counterattack rule is just always so easy. It's very fair. Both sides understand how it works. You know, it just makes sense. So, yeah, I'm probably tempted to just go with that. Rather than actually utilizing this fumble table, which isn't really that extensive anyways. I mean, I guess it's based on armor and so, yeah, I don't know. I really like the counterattack rule. So, fuck it, we're just gonna go with that. So the potato farmer gets a free attack on this hound. And I think he missed anyways. I have an AC of 12. Okay. Alright, so we have a new round then. We get to go. We gotta bring in 2 new people. I think the hunter has not been used. Yeah, he has a short bow. We have not seen this before, so we got a hunter. He's got 17 stamina, 3 hit points, 14 agility. It's pretty nice, considering he's using a bow. He does have a shitty luck score. And then the urchin. Have we seen the urchin? I don't think so. No. Okay, so the urchin has 2 hit points, 14 strength. That's pretty solid. 12 agility, 13 stamina, 11 personality, 12 intelligence, also a 7 luck, which affects all of his saving throws. So he's gonna pick up the longsword. Yeah, and we still have a torch. Okay, this is our... He's also going to pick up the shield. I'm not going to give him the leather armor because he wouldn't be able to put that on in the middle of the fight, but we do want to grab that as well as maybe the spear for the hunter. Yeah, maybe the hunter will grab the spear. I mean, I'm glad he has a bow and can use it, but it's not really useful in this situation. So he'll grab the spear. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So we've got 2 undead that I think are uninjured. And then we've got 3 hounds that are uninjured. It's not looking good. We're going to go for the undead first. The ghouls. So we'll have the hunter attack with his spear. Miss. We'll have the beetle swing his longsword. Miss. Jesus. The potato farmer stabs with the spear. Miss. And the urchin swings the longsword. Miss. This is a disaster. This is a bloodbath. The thing is, though, like, if I was playing this with, like, a group of people, I don't know how you'd fit more than, like, a few peasants in here anyways. I guess if we shuffled out into the hallway, it could be better. But I feel like the hounds are, like, climbing over the beds and stuff to get to us and surround us, so it's just not good. This isn't a good situation. Probably we should have just left, ran out the door and barricaded it or something like that. That would have been a smarter plan. I guess we could do that now. Are there opportunity attacks in this game? No, it does not have attacks of opportunity. Okay. Well then, fuck it. We don't gain much by killing these things. So, we're gonna run out and shut the door and just, like, put our backs to it. Now, you could say shutting the door is an action, but usually not. And I think to be nice to a group of players that have had a rough go of it, I think you'd allow them to just do that real quick. So we slam the door shut and hold it. Now, of course, they can get out of that room through this tunnel system. So that probably has repercussions later on. But for now, yeah, we hightail it out of there. There isn't really any loot in there. They have the scale mail, which would be kind of valuable. And I did leave the leather armor behind, so that's a bummer. And they also have short swords, and they carry silver pendants worth 2 gold pieces each. But we'll take we'll take our lives. Okay. So we're gonna just sit here for a moment and catch our breath and make sure nothing bursts through this door, which I guess it doesn't. Because I think it's said that they're more interested in ambushing. They prefer surprise and the capture of intruders. So I think they'll lie in wait. Okay, so we're going to then, after, 5-10 minutes or whatever, mourning the loss of our brethren, we'll move over and we'll just leave 210 as it is, and we'll shift over to 211, and we'll listen at the door again. We still have the beetle here. Yeah, he definitely succeeds if there's something to maybe be heard. No, it doesn't seem like there's anything to be heard. So we will cautiously enter. I suppose the beetle is leading the way. This spacious room was obviously once the quarters of a person of high station. It appears untouched by age, as if its occupant might return at any moment. Vermilion robes hang from a hook on the wall near a comfortable-looking bed piled with soft pillows and thick bedding. A chair and writing table sit near the opposite wall, and a thick rug covers much of the stone floor. The level of comfort and state of items here is unlike anything seen elsewhere so far. Okay, this gets your sort of spidey senses tingling whenever you see a fine-looking room inside of a dungeon. These are the private quarters of the wizard Thanatar, who accompanied the Resurrection Stone when it was evacuated. While the stone was able to prolong the lives of many, the magic she had woven around herself interfered with the powers of the stone, rendering it powerless to aid her. The room itself is so thoroughly protected that the Verkalakis are wholly unable to enter, rendering this room completely safe from outside dangers. Wow. The bed is every bit as comfortable as it looks, and the linens are still fresh at the moment that they were last set onto the bed. Beneath the bed is a worn trunk that includes a variety of personal items, clothing, and small keepsakes of no value to anyone but the owner. The writing table holds a dozen sheets of fine parchment and 3 ink pots, each holding a different color of ink. 2 quills, each with nibs that will never dull through regular use, are in a small stand. A pair of entries in a small journal detail Thanatar's concerns involving the soldiers using the Resurrection Stone to renew the lives of their comrades so they may continue protecting the stone, as well as their growing suspicions about their commander, Gallus. Okay, so we'd get player handout 1. It has been 40 years since the overthrow of King Agamemnos by the Beastmen faction, the Unchained. Word has filtered back to us that their Minotaur leader has anointed himself their king. Since the discovery of the Serpent Man spy in our midst, I have become ever more concerned for the stability of the soldiers. Before our departure from the palace, I visited the sacred groves and consulted the Hamadryad Astraea. She foretold of great turmoil ahead. The men are of advanced age, and there has been much discussion as to who will carry on their watch as they succumb to old age. Their commander, Gallus, suggested that they make use of the Resurrection Stone. Even at the cost of 2 lives, for the rebirth of a third, their numbers would allow them to carry on for several more generations. After a week-long debate and over my protests, Gallus was the first to be restored to life in this fashion. The soldiers are furious that the delay cost them the chance to fully restore Gallus to youth, but I fear what may come from repeated exposure to the power of the stone. My worst fears are realized. Gallus did not return to us unchanged. It was quickly apparent that Gallus retained all of their memories and knowledge. Despite this, something has seemed off with their behavior. Yesterday, I caught sight of them above ground, gutting a rabbit. I watched in horror as they greedily devoured its organs. Perhaps Gallus remained dead for too long, and something else has returned in his place. I will be addressing the other soldiers in hopes of relieving Gallus of command and placing him under guard. I only hope that I am not too late. Okay. We didn't read the actual, plot for the DM plot section at the start. But obviously a lot concerns this Resurrection Stone. There's a king that was overthrown by Beastmen faction, and now there's a Minotaur king. There's a Serpent Man spine amongst them. And they're using the Resurrection Stone to keep all their soldiers young-ish. I guess I don't know who this mage is. But this resurrection stone might also be turning them all into ghouls or something. So Thanatar accompanied the resurrection stone and was evacuated. Maybe we should read the DM plot section. It was 1,000 years ago that the kingdom of Thracia fell amidst the Beastman uprising. During the chaos, a single Thracian legion was tasked with carrying key artifacts to safety, meant to return with them once the revolt was defeated. Taking the treasures, the legion's members broke up into smaller groups, scattered into the surrounding jungle, and vanished. Many of the legionnaires perished in their attempt to escape with the Thracian treasures. Others succeeded, and when Thracia fell, used those items to create new lives as wealthy merchants in foreign lands. However, unbeknownst to all, some of the legionnaires succeeded in guarding their charge and do so even to this day. While their fate has remained a mystery to historians and treasure hunters alike, the reality of the situation is a sinister secret that is now seeping out of the soil. Having moved the artifacts to safety, the Legion dug an underground complex in which to secure them. Locking themselves away, pledged to their oath to forever protect Thracia's greatest treasure, the Resurrection Stone, they were slowly corrupted into flesh-eating undead. As the soldiers neared death by old age, the idea was put forth to use the stone, sacrificing 2 of their number to the stone in order to renew a third. Using the Resurrection Stone to prolong their watch led to increasingly corruptive results, and eventually they no longer returned as mortal men, but rose anew as Thracian ghouls, the Verkalakis. Their commander, Gallus, was the first to be transformed. Due to the nature of their appearance, he managed to hide this fact from the others until it was too late, and within a short time, all that remained were turned. Crowning himself the Ghoul King, Gallus began sending out his forces to hunt, leading to centuries of disappearances throughout the region. No longer satisfied with dining on the scraps of graveyards, Gallus envisions a world populated by the Verkalakis and has stepped up attacks on local communities. It is here that the adventure begins. Okay. So, Thracia, ancient kingdom, fell to a Beastman uprising. Some soldiers of Thracia escaped. Some group of that escaped with the Resurrection Stone, the greatest of their treasures. And they ended up using it to prolong their lives so that they could keep watch over it, but that corrupted them, turned them into ghouls, and now there's a Ghoul King that wants to take over the world with his ghoul army. And he started to attack villages nearby, including our village, and we don't like that, so we're going to put a stop to him. I think I get it all now. Alright, inside the drawer is a single scroll of Ward Portal, Result 32. Concerned by the use to which the Resurrection Stone was being put, Thanatar prepared 2 such scrolls with the intention of permanently sealing the Resurrection Stone away. However, when the events in the journal occurred, Thanatar used one of the scrolls to permanently seal the doors to Area 212, trapping Gallus within. The pocket of the robes holds Thanatar's Persuader, a wand of magic missiles which fires a 1d3 point magic missile at a target within line of sight up to twice a day. Interesting. Okay, so obviously we're going to search the room, so we find all these things. Yeah, our beetle is our most intelligent character. He's definitely going to be our mage if he survives, which is unlikely. So he's certainly going to take the, he's going to take the wand. So we're going to add in a ranged weapon, I guess. Fires a 1d3 point magic missile at a target within line of sight up to twice per day. I don't think I really needed to add it as a ranged weapon, to be honest. It's probably just a piece of equipment. Because you don't have to roll. That's pretty good. I mean, guaranteed 1d3 damage twice per day. I assume that we can use it. Actually, I have no idea. I have no idea if they can. I don't even know if they're mentioned in this book. Here they are. Well, they're not mentioned much, so I have no idea. Huh. Weird. I have no idea. There's not... I mean, you know, it's old school. It's all rulings versus rules and just whatever feels right to you. Then that's what you should go with. Yeah, I mean, it's a level 0 funnel. You find a wand. I feel like you should be able to use a wand. If you're smart enough. So yeah, I would say as long as you have a +1 to your intelligence, at least, you should be able to use the wand. So fuck it. That's my ruling, and that's what I'm going with. Now the Scroll of Ward Portal, that's a trickier argument. For a scroll, yeah, I don't know. Probably not. Probably not without actually being a wizard or an elf or something. So I'll take it. But yeah, I don't think you can like read it or comprehend it. Whereas a wand is kind of, it's like a gun. It's just fire and forget, especially for magic missile. It's not like a wand of fireball or, you know, some higher level thing. It's a pretty basic point and shoot kind of thing. Okay, good. So from there, then we step out and we're looking at the doors. Despite looking like ancient double doors from a distance, closer examination reveals that to not be the case. The entirety of the doors are solid stone, without seam or functional hinge. These former doors were sealed by Thanatar by way of ward portal. Short of potentially spending hours with sledgehammers, there is no non-magical way through them. Jeez. I guess the question is, would we have seen that there was a tunnel in there? I don't know if it mentioned it. It didn't mention it in the DM, like, description out loud. It says it's obscured by the rows of bunks. So no, I don't think we would have seen that. Shit. I could very well see a party just leaving at this point then. I mean, they would futz with these doors for quite a while. And the way that I'd probably do it is, like, they'd find the scroll, and I would say, like, yeah, it's some sort of arcane magical scroll, but you can't really read it. They probably futz with that for a while to try and figure it out. But yeah, I mean, it's like that's a tough one. Obviously, as the DM, as the all-knowing DM here, I know we're supposed to go through this tunnel and go around and up through here to get into this room so we can deal with the final boss. But as far as a player is concerned, in this situation specifically, you'd putz for a while, and then you'd just be like, yeah, I guess we're gonna leave. I mean, the DM could say, like, well, there is a way past those doors. You know, there is a way to get into the room beyond. You know, the DM could just be like, hey, the adventure's not over yet. You keep going. In which case, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be unreasonable for someone to assume that there's more to that room with the ghouls in it that we didn't get to explore fully. I would say that's reasonable. So let's assume we make that leap of judgment and we realize that we gotta deal with the shit that's in there. What is our best bet then? I mean, doorway strats are pretty good. We could limit it certainly to a couple combatants in the doorway. I don't think we really have anything that we could put together to, yeah, I mean, we could light something on fire, I guess. But they're undead, so they're not really going to get bothered by, like, smoke inhalation or anything. Yeah, I don't know. Shit. I guess the best thing I can do is just fling the door open and have the hunter immediately shoot his bow at something that he sees, assuming the ghouls are still, like, in sight. And then just have the urchin and the beetle up front, the potato farmer and the hunter on the second line with the spears. That's really all we can kind of hope for. It's gonna be messy. I mean, some of these are gonna die. I really don't want the beetle to die. He can use the wand of magic missiles. And if he spots one of the hounds, he probably should. I think they only have 4 hit points. It wouldn't be a kill, but it would be handy. But no matter what, this is gonna be pretty rough. We stand very good odds of just dying from any attack against us. But alright, that's what we're gonna do. So, you know, we spent like 10 minutes went by. So it's hard to say what the ghouls did after that. I guess we'll do an oracle question. Just 50-50. The question is, did the ghouls go back into their original hiding places? They did not. Okay. So then 50-50, are the ghouls waiting by the door? Yes, they are. Okay. So they're sort of, the 2 ghouls are kind of weapons ready. You know, they're undead, so they're very, very patient. So they know that we're still on the other side of this door in the hallway and stuff like that, and we're rummaging around. So they're just kind of waiting by the door, hoping that maybe eventually that we'll come back in, which we are. And then the hounds are kind of behind them. So we're gonna just fling the door open. We're not expecting them to be there. They're not expecting us to fling the door open. So it's sort of equal. Like, there's no surprise here either way. We're at the mercy of initiative, which is not great. But if we win initiative, there's a chance. We do get a +1. They get a +1. So maybe. We rolled a 14. They rolled an 18. Okay, so we fling the door open, and the two ghouls immediately get to go. The plan was what the plan was. So we have the beetle and the urchin up front. So they're swinging at the beetle. They have a +1 on the short sword. They miss, and the other one swings at the urchin. Miss. Okay. Now, depending on the game I'm playing, and, you know, we could talk about squeezing rules and things like that. The hounds could squeeze in to maybe get a bite to eat. I don't know if it mentions squeezing or anything. Oh, it does mention squeezing. So that would be -1 die if the hounds want to squeeze in. That means that they would drop down to a D16 for their attack. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good reason for them not to attempt to do that. I guess that would also bump down the ghouls' dice as well. They'd all be squeezing into this section here. The only argument against doing it, really, is that it's just kind of mean to have more and more attacks pile on. A D16 doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's still a very, very good chance that we get hit anyways. So we'll be nice, because I kind of like this lineup. So we'll be nice and say that the hounds just wait for a moment and don't try to squeeze through the ghoul's legs. So that gives us an opportunity here. So the beetle's going to swing his longsword. He misses. The urchin swings his longsword. Misses. Potato farmer stabbing with the spear from the second row. He does hit one for 5 damage, so that is injured. And the hunter will stab with his spear, the same one. Misses. Okay. New round of combat. The ghoul is going to swing at the beetle. He does hit. Barely. He does hit, so he has to roll a 1 for the beetle not to die. He does not, so the beetle dies. That's a real shame. The beetle was our best character for sure. Definitely our best wizard potential. But he died, and then the other one attacks the urchin. Also hits for 4 damage, and the urchin dies. So the front line is down. We're not going to get new characters coming in until the next round. So the hunter and the potato farmer step up. They're going to try to kill this injured one. It has 3 hit points left. Misses. And misses. Okay, so they're now in the front line. And we got 2 new ones. I think I have to roll up another set. I think the woodcutter is done. And we know the squire's done. The orphan's done. Beekeeper is... Yeah, he's the one with the leather armor, so I'm going to hold on to him just yet. Okay. We've got a dwarf, finally. 2 dwarves. Oh, shit. And a halfling and an elf. Oh, my God. We got all the alternate races. But okay, the two dwarves are gonna get involved here. Okay, neither one is spectacular. The mushroom farmer does have +1 strength mod, but a -2 to personality and intelligence. The blacksmith, pretty garbage overall. Terrible reflex saves. Neither one of these is great. But alright, the ghouls are going to go. They're swinging at the hunter and the potato farmer. He hits the hunter for 5 damage. That is another kill. And against the potato farmer, crit. That's 100% a kill, right? Yeah. Okay, so that is more death. This is a fucking meat grinder, man. The blacksmith, mushroom farmer, the dwarves are gonna step up. The brothers swings his hammer, misses, swings his shovel, misses. Oh god, we just cannot catch a fucking break, man. What a meat grinder. This is why DCC has a bad reputation. Okay, so we got to bring in the other two, the Elven Sage and the Halfling Dyer. The Halfling is fucking terrible. Holy shit. A 3 strength. Oh my god. The Elf Sage, you'd think he'd be kind of smart, but no, he's pretty average. 6 strength. This is abysmal. What a terrible roundup of shit. Alright, the ghouls swing at the dwarves. First one, that's a hit. D6, 4 damage. That's another kill. And the mushroom farmer, a fumble. Okay, he gets to counterattack. He hits. We'll say it was the injured one, so we're down to 1 ghoul. But we still have 3 hounds to deal with. Alright, we'll pile onto the 1 ghoul then, with our shit rolls. Miss. Miss, because they have that scale armor, 14 AC, I think. Yeah. And the mushroom farmer, hit for 5. Okay, he's down to 3 hit points. We need to bring in another set of characters. There's infinite peasants. We have another dwarf. Stonemason. Okay, 17 stamina. So another dwarf. We also got a gambler and 2 more halflings. Okay. Maybe one of them is our hopes and dreams. The ghouls are targeting the, let's say the dwarf and the elves. No, there's 1 ghoul and 1 hound now involved. The ghoul attacks the elf. That is a hit for sure. 4 damage. The elf is dead. The hound is going to try to bite the dwarven mushroom farmer. And it gets +2 to its bite. It misses. Excellent. Okay, we're going to pile onto the ghoul still. 3 hit points remaining on him. We fumbled. So he gets to do a free counterattack. He misses. Halfling does hit for 1 damage. It's got 2 hit points left. The mushroom farmer, miss. Okay, new round. We're bringing in the gambler. Okay, not great. 1 hit point. Nothing really spectacular there. The ghoul is going to try to hit the stonemason. Miss. The hound is trying to bite the mushroom farmer. That's a hit for 1d5. 5 damage. That mushroom farmer is dead. 2 hit points left on the ghoul. Gambler's going to step up and swing his club. He does hit and kills him. Excellent. There is hope. Okay, Mason's going to swing at the hound. Ooh, that might be a hit. They have 12 AC and 4 hit points. So he's got 1 hit point left. Can the Dire end it? I highly doubt it. No, he rolled a 0. No go on that. Okay, new round. We're bringing in the Mariner. Okay. Fucking 3 stamina is pretty atrocious. Yeah. Alright. We got 2 hounds here. One's going to try to bite the Gambler. That is a hit. He's got 1 hit point, so that's a kill on the Gambler. The other one's going to try to bite the Stonemason. That is a hit as well. 2 damage on the Stonemason. That is not a kill, but does carry a disease. A wasting death disease. They immediately suffer -1 from their max hit point, DC 8 fortitude save to negate. Yeah, we definitely negated that. Alright, so we fended that off. Okay, nasty bite, but the dwarves are made of hardier stuff, so we're all good. We have 1 hound with 1 hit point, 2 more hounds with full hit points. Stonemason swings his hammer. The injured one. Kills it. Yes. Halfling on the other one. Yes. Actually landed 1 point of damage. And the Mariner. 1 more point of damage. It's got 2 hit points left. We bring in a Moneylender. We have 3 fucking halflings. What a party. 18 personality. Holy shit. Look at this guy. 11 AC, 3 hit points, 17 strength, 15 agility, 18 personality, 14 luck. Pretty solid. And he's got a short sword. This guy's a beast. Okay, so you got 1 hound with 2 hit points, 1 with full hit points. One's going to try to bite the Stonemason again. That is a hit. Almost certainly a kill this time. Yep. Stonemason couldn't fend off a second bite. Second on the Dire. That is a miss. Excellent. Okay. Moneylender hops in. He's been waiting. He's been itching for his turn. Trying to stab the uninjured one. Boom. Fucking stabs it through the mouth and kills it in 1 shot. Let's end this shit. Miss. Miss. Okay. We do have to roll up another set of 4. A confidence artist. Okay. Okay. We have 1 hound left. He's going to try to bite the Moneylender. No, fuck it. This Dire is so shit. Okay, he missed it. No, actually, that is a hit. They have +2. Yeah, that is a plus. So, yeah, but he stands a good odds of survive. Nope, he's died. Okay. What was the second one? The Hunter, okay. Alright. Moneylender. Lend his money. No, okay. Confidence Artist. Dagger. That is a hit. Not quite a kill, though. It's got 1 hit point left. Can the Mariner finish it? No. Alright, new round. We got the other Hunter coming in. Pretty average stats across the board. Alright. The Hound is going to try to hit the Confidence Artist. He rolled a 1. Confidence Artist gets counterattack. Kills it. Done. Holy shit. Holy shit. Jesus Christ, man. How many did we lose here? This is our death pool. Oh my god. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters. 10 peasants lost their life in that skirmish. And we just kept lining them up, and what a fucking Looney Tunes nonsense. Yeah, I mean, just terrible dice rolls. Okay, but we do get our pick of the litter for gear that we can pick off their corpses. So anything that's kind of handy, like, say, rope, we should grab that. Maybe some rations. Chain is pretty good. The beetle has a bunch of good stuff. Do we have a character with decent intelligence? Yes, the confidence harness has 15. That's livable. And he can use the wand per my own rulings, so he will take the wand of magic missile and the scroll of ward portal. He'll also take the longsword and the torch. Excellent. I guess we probably can grab this flint and steel too. We already have a hunter. Okay, you can take the rope, I guess. You got the grappling hook. He does have a spear, which is a pretty good weapon, so I guess you should take that. Okay. Yeah, actually I'm going to take that extra short bow and give it to the moneylender. Might come in handy. Whatever the range is on a short bow. 50, 100, 150. Yeah, I don't know why that's under. I don't know why they put it as a melee weapon. Okay. Most of this we don't really care about. Iron spike could be useful. I guess a sack could be useful. A shovel could be useful. I can't rule it out. Yeah. And then the other long sword, which I guess could go to... Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I use that over a short sword? And the shield, which we'll give to, probably the moneylender, right? Yeah. He's our best and brightest. And then there was also the leather armor, which I'm gonna finally pick up and put on. Now he's got a 14 armor class, baby. He's our best and brightest. Alright, that's fine. We'll give the short sword over to the mariner. Okay. We're loaded up. Jesus. Let's delete. Delete. We have no dwarves. All the dwarves died. Tragically. The three dwarf brothers. I think a couple of these elves we haven't looked at yet. Sage died, however. The gambler died. Dyer died. This hunter died. potato farmer died a long time ago, and the urchin died. Alright, now, additionally, there's scale armor on these ghouls. So there's 3 sets of scale armor, scale mail, which are +4 AC. It is a -4 check penalty and -5 to speed, but right now I think we can take all the AC we can get. So, yeah, honestly, I think maybe they'll all wear it. Well, we're going to take all 3 sets. Alright, fine. We'll have the Mariner, the Halfling over here wear the leather armor. And then we're going to scale mail, which is +4, -4, fumble die of D12, and speed of -5 feet, if that ever comes up. Okay. Look at that, 16 AC. Now that's something to talk about. Okay. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. They also have the short swords, which we don't care about, and they have the silver pendants, worth 2 gold pieces each, which I guess we should take. The moneylender is all about that. So 3 of them, silver pendant, which is worth 2. Yeah. Okay. All right. Jeez, that was a lot, huh? I'm gonna just say that I wouldn't count this as a particularly good funnel. Because if you go to the DCC core rulebook, at the very end, there's Portal Under the Stars, which I think we did, right? We did as a funnel when I did my Shadow Dark hex crawl. This one I think is a lot more fun. That doesn't really, you know, it's like a Syrian light trap, spear throwing statue, flame launching statue, an immortal demon snake. Like it's mostly just like puzzles and traps and stuff, and just kind of fun. I mean, Portal Under Stars, of course, is like the gold standard for a funnel. Like it's always mentioned as a funnel that you should try out. But you compare that to this one, which is just like, here's a few fights. Just straight up fights against undead ghouls and stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's not really where funnels shine. The most recent funnel I did at a convention also was not like this. Like, I don't know, maybe, I guess it could have been. I definitely made it more just like, I don't know, I don't want to use the word silly, but I think I like there was like this party going on with all there was like, yeah, there was some sort of like fancy masked ball going on, and we were prisoners that had to escape. It was very much a meat grinder. I mean, I didn't survive with like any characters at the end. So it was definitely a meat grinder, but yeah, I ended up like having 2 of my characters take this like chair. It was like a barber chair or something in this side room or something like that. No, it wasn't a barber chair. They used it to like, I don't even remember. They used it to like paint tattoos onto their prisoners or something. So I like unscrew, like I ripped the chair out of its seating or whatever, and then I was like pretending that I was like maintenance men. Then I was like carrying it out of the dungeon. So I was like walking through the the masked ball. Like I was like just on the hugging the walls, just like, yep, we're just carrying this out, you know, don't mind us. And I think the DM had me roll a luck roll to see like if they bought it, and I rolled a 1, which is a, when you're rolling luck specifically, is like a crit. And you could just see kind of the anguish on his face that he had to just sort of, he had to go along with this because I crit. But it was really annoying because the other players were just like, yeah, I follow them. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Get the fuck out of here. Get your own idea. Because as soon as the other characters all showed up at the masked ball, then all hell broke loose. But then I think I lit a big fire or something. There was a lot of chaos and just, there was like a mass stampede, and it was pretty wild. I don't think that DM ever had that session, ever had that funnel go exactly that way. So that's usually my goal when I do a convention game. Anyways, yeah, this one, I don't know. I'm curious to try running it for some people to see how it goes, but I don't know how you avoid just straight up fights here. Because these aren't like people, these are ghouls and stuff that are just intent on killing you. There's not a whole lot of like finesse you can do to avoid it. Anyways, so we search the room, we don't really find anything else. And we do find these little crawl spaces at the far end. A crawlway. I think, you know, it's certainly a high degree of bravery to go into these crawlways, but we eventually decide that maybe this is the only way into that other room. So we go through the crawlways. And we end up here in the prison of Gallus. The winding tunnel abruptly ends, opening up into a large chamber. The unwholesome air here reeks of morbidity and decay. The stonework here is older than that of previous areas, speaking to an origin far more ancient than even the kingdom of Thracia. The walls are dotted by dozens of tunnels burrowed beyond broken masonry, which glistens in the damp trickling from the ceiling above. Upon a massive stone table, there rests a shimmering, opalescent stone. Around the table are squat stone benches and a crude throne, constructed of bone and sinew. God, I don't know why I can't read this properly. Usually I'm good at this. And a crude throne, constructed of bone and sinew, sits against the far wall, overseeing the chamber. Okay, so... yeah, you could see surmising that stone is the resurrection stone. I think we'd be very wary. And we'd sort of like go around the perimeter of the room maybe a little bit, keeping an eye on the stone and keeping an eye on the throne and stuff. Oh. Why wouldn't you put this in the descriptive text? Okay, so when the PCs enter, Gallus sits upon his throne clad in ancient armor, flanked by 2 large necrokines. Standing by his side are any surviving Verkalakis from elsewhere in the catacombs. Gallus seeks to convince the PCs to join his forces, offering immortality and wealth beyond imagining as the new rulers of Thracia. If allowed, he further explains that it should be a simple matter for a sizable group to seize control of the Old Kingdom and raise it to glory once more. All the PCs must do is be willing to sacrifice themselves so that some of their number may die and be reborn. Once it becomes obvious to Gallus that the PCs are unlikely to cooperate, a snap of his fingers sends the 2 ghoulhounds and any remaining Verkalakis rushing forward to attack. Gallus avoids entering combat until his minions have had a chance to thin the opposition. After each character is slain, the Ghoul King calls for the PCs to surrender, offering them a chance to give their lives so that their comrades may rise again. Gallus personally attempts to take prisoners if possible, using the flat of his blade in an attempt to knock foes unconscious for later convincing. Okay. Then, so that's what I could have done, I suppose, if I had read the whole module ahead of time. Instead of the ghouls waiting here by the door, they could have retreated further back here, and we could have had to fight all that. Yeah, we could have had to fight two of the ghouls and a total of 5 of the hounds, which would have been a fucking rough final fight. As it is, this shouldn't be too bad, but yeah, certainly still bad. Alright, so let's roll initiative then, straight up. we obviously are aware of him and him sicking the hounds on us. So they get to roll a +3. They rolled an 8. We rolled a 16, so we get to go first. So he sicks the hounds on us. They start rushing forward. Combat initiates. And, yeah, we are ready. So, I think, yeah, we'll just... Well, let's just see how it goes. They're not going to be too tough. They have 12 AC and 8 hit points each. So the moneylender rushes forward, longsword gleaming. He does hit and kills one. Holy shit. Decapitated. Dead. Alright, Confidence Artist is going to swing his longsword at the other one. Fumbles. Okay, shit. The hound gets a free counterattack. +2. Misses. Okay. Hunter is going to go in with the spear. Hits. 4 points of damage. It's at half health. Can the Mariner finish it off with the short sword? Crits for 4 points. That is a kill. Holy shit. Okay. That's pretty big. Gallus does rise then. And he's going to enter the fray right away. He did not expect these peasants to deal with his hounds so quickly, I imagine. It says that he's going to use the flat of his blade to attempt to knock them unconscious, but I don't know if he really would, to be honest. I think he's gonna try to kill us. So he's gonna charge in with his longsword, mithril longsword, +3 melee for 1d8 damage. So he's gonna, I don't know which one he's gonna pick. I'm gonna roll d4. 1, he's going for the moneylender. Alright, he swings, he rolls a 20 total. I think the moneylender is dead, even with that 16 AC. Damn. That's a real fucking shame. He would have been an amazing cleric. Damn. Alright, so he rolls a d8, he rolls a 7, moneylender is dead. Now I kind of wish that I had gone with the flat of the blade. Are there rules for that, for non-lethal? Probably not, right? No, I wouldn't imagine. No. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how other systems, like, how does OSE do it? Yeah, some games just do it as, like, it's just a normal attack, and you just say that you're... Alright, fuck it. Since it's the final battle, the module specifically says that he's gonna try to take him alive to convince him. Fuck it. And I like this lineup of characters, so... Yeah, so he just sort of smacks the moneylender across the head with the flat of his blade and knocks him out. So we'll put him at 0, but he's not dead. But now it's our turn. I mean, I could say that these are the last 4 peasants, if I really wanted to. I don't know if it'll come to that, but we'll see. The Confidence Artist... I think he might use the Wand of Magic Missiles, to be honest. It's guaranteed hit. Gallus has 18 hit points, though. That is a lot to chew through. I think we need just solid hits. He also has 16 AC. This is not going to be super easy, especially with the moneylender out of the fight. So we need the Confidence Artist to hit hard. So he's going to swing the longsword. He does hit for 5 damage. That's good. Gallus is down to 13. The Hunter stabbing with the spear. Not enough, I'm afraid. And the Mariner with the short sword. Also not a hit. Okay. Guess I'll roll again to see who he targets. He's going to target the Mariner. He does hit for sure. 6 points. He also knocks out the Mariner. Uh-oh. Okay. Confidence Artist again. Come on, baby. Nope. Miss. Spear. That is a hit. 7 points. It's pretty big. So we did 5 plus 7 is 12. So he's down to 6 hit points. He's gonna swing at the hunter. He does hit, I'm pretty sure. He's got a +3 for 8 damage. He knocks out the hunter. It's just him and the Confidence Artist. Come on, baby. Nope, that's a miss. Swings at the Confidence Artist. That is a hit, yes. And no matter what, he knocks out the Confidence Artist. Okay, damn. Then I have to bring in the last couple. The Elven Forester and the Elven Navigator are my last couple characters. I mean, technically not. I could keep churning out more, but we'll say these are the last two for now. Alright. The Navigator is going to fire off the short bow. Miss. Forester charges in with his staff. Miss. He's going to try to knock out the Forester. He definitely does. Yep. And the Navigator shoots the short bow again. Oh! That is a hit. I don't think he's dead, though. No, he's got 1 hit point left. So the Gallus is gonna just calmly walk forward, I guess, and smack the Navigator. He misses. Okay. The Navigator is gonna pick up, I don't know, this staff, I guess, and swing it. Oh, just enough. Wow. Okay. And with that, the Navigator beats down Gallus, and we succeed. Wow. Okay. Yeah, he was no joke. 16 AC for peasants is pretty tough, and 18 hit points. And he rolled really well with his longsword. With all our ACs, like, I can't believe he didn't miss, like, at all. Okay, so I could take the Foresters or the Navigator. Neither one is really that amazing. I guess the Navigator does have a 17 personality, but nah, yeah, it's fine. So they served their purpose. They've been sitting in the back the whole time. They're fine. So eventually we come to defeating Gallus and recovering the long-lost Resurrection Stone strikes a major blow for the forces of law in the never-ending battle against Chaos. Lawful and neutral PCs all receive a bonus of +1 luck, maximum 18. While chaotic PCs gain no bonus, they also suffer no penalty. The forces of Chaos are willing to wait and see what their lives might mean to the struggle for celestial dominance. So, the random generator does not pick an alignment for us. I gotta say the Confidence Artist probably is chaotic. I think the Hunter is neutral. The Mariner is neutral. And I'm gonna say the Moneylender is actually lawful. So he gains a +1 luck. The Hunter gains +1 luck. And the Mariner gains +1 luck. We didn't burn any luck. I probably could have. Players who have lost a favorite PC in the funnel may wish to use the Resurrection Stone to revive them by choosing to sacrifice others. Okay. It's the Resurrection Stone. This uneven piece of crystal burns with a shimmering internal fire. When powered by the life forces of 2 willing participants, it draws out those energies, killing the donors, and infuses it into the frame of one near death, reverting them back to infancy. Should those energies instead be granted to a person no more than 24 hours deceased, they rise again, fully restored to health but no younger. They are reborn on that day and thus must re-roll their lucky sign. All individuals raised on the same day share the same lucky sign. Those raised from death beyond 24 hours arise as Verkalakis. Okay. That is a pretty powerful thing to have. I guess we'll give it to the moneylender. All right. Oh, I think there was also something with the throne. Concealed in the seat of the grisly throne is the last of the Thracian treasures assigned to Gallus and his soldiers. A small gold statue of a Pegasus worth 500 gold pieces, a silver and gold mask worth 100 gold pieces, and a coffer holding 200 ancient Thracian gold coins that are worth 10 times that amount to the right collector. Jesus. Okay. I don't know if there's a limit to how much you can carry in this game. I assume that is, but it's probably just like the normal old school, like, you can carry what makes sense. Yep, use common sense. Players must explain how they are carrying their equipment, which hands hold which weapon, which sack or backpack contains which objects, and so on. Yeah. I'm usually of the opinion that, like, every character just has a backpack. But I don't really like this sort of free form, you can carry as much as makes sense. Because that's just more work for the DM. Players usually are just like, I don't know, I feel like I can carry all this. Blah, 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 blah. So that's why I prefer something like Shadow Dark or Tales of Argos or something which has sort of a specific limit based on your strength or something like that. And it would be pretty easy to institute that here in DCC of just like, yeah, I have 17 strength, I can carry 17 slots. In which case, well, I can carry quite a lot. So that's a lot of money, though. Old statue of Pegasus, worth 500 gold. Why does it default to gold as the image? I mean, I guess it's good enough. Yeah, all right. We have a silver and gold mask worth 100 gold. And we have 200 Thracian coins, which I guess are worth 200 gold or 2,000 gold to the right collector, which is very nebulous. But certainly big money, big prizes. And as far as we're concerned, we have solved the dilemma to our village. So we're getting the fuck out of here, and that's the end of the funnel. Huzzah! So now we finally get to go to level 1. Okay. So, we get to pick our classes. So let's go back to the rulebook and go over all the classes, shall we? What man calls free will is but the options remaining after destiny and the gods have made their plays. If your character survives to first level, you can choose a class. Your free will is constrained by the fatalism of the dice. Pick a class that suits your randomly determined strengths and weaknesses. The demi-human classes of dwarf, elf, and halfling may only be selected by characters whose zero-level occupation was of that race. Okay. So we have cleric. Pretty. I don't think I have to explain what a cleric is. Thief. Warrior. Wizard. Dwarf. Now, here's where we get into race as class. So what is a dwarf exactly? It's basically a warrior. It's very similar to a warrior. They get D10 hit points at each level. The warrior gets D12, so they get slightly less hit points. Think they get a smaller selection of equipment. Nah, not necessarily. I guess a little bit. Maybe slightly different. They don't get a fixed attack modifier at each level. Instead, they receive a deed die, just like a warrior. At first level, this is a D3. So you can see here's the deed die, and I'll go over deeds in a second because we are definitely taking a warrior of some type. So I think that's pretty much the same. Yeah, that looks pretty much the same. They excel at fighting with a shield in one hand and a weapon in the other. When fighting with a shield, a dwarf always gains a shield bash as the second attack, uses a D14 to hit, and they get to add their D die to the number, blah, 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 it does D3 damage. So the warrior does not get that. But the warrior gets an expanded crit range, 19 to 20. From first to third level, and then after that at 9th level no, so that's weird. Why did it word it like that? So at first through 4th level they have 19 to 20, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 is 18 to 20, and then at 9, 10, 17 to 20. The dwarf does not get that. Dwarf gets infravision, so it can see in the dark up to 60 feet, has slower movement speed, and has underground skills, and their luck modifier applies to attack rolls with one specific kind of weapon, such as long swords. It's also like a warrior. So would you pick a dwarf if you had a dwarf character instead of a warrior? Because I don't think you have to pick a dwarf if you are a dwarf. Yeah, you know, you get infravision. Although I don't know, actually. That seems weird. If I pick warrior, why would I not have infravision? So maybe you do have to pick dwarf. But that doesn't make any sense, right? I don't know. That's why race is class. It's kind of weird. I don't think you have to pick it. Because if you have a dwarf, like, that really pigeonholes you into what you can do then. So I think you can pick whatever. But yeah, I guess if you pick warrior instead of dwarf, you don't get infravision. I would say certainly if you want to do sword and board, dwarf is a better option. This is all a moot point because we don't have any dwarves, but anyways. We also don't have any elves, but an elf is sort of like a wizard, but also can be a little bit more martial. They can use long swords and long bows, two-handed swords. I think they... So they start at level 1 with 3 known spells. The wizard starts with 4, so they're slightly worse at spellcasting. But like I said, they can use more weapons. They get infravision. They're immune to magical sleep and paralysis. They have heightened senses. Their luck modifier applies to spell checks on one spell of your choice. Yeah. So at 5th level, you get a second action die. So a wizard gets a d20 and a d14. The first die can be used for attacks or spell checks, but the second can only be used for spell checks. The elf can use any action die for any sort of action. So yeah, they're a little bit more martial of mages, which is their thing. I would say if you are an elf, you probably are going to pick the elf class. Unless you're going to pick warrior or something like that. But you never know. Halfling. So of course the halfling is sort of like the... Well, I don't know. They're sort of their own thing, really. They're not like the thief. They don't get thief skills, really. But they get a lot of stuff based around luck. They get d6 hit points each level. They can use a small selection of weapons. Nothing too fancy, no long swords or anything like that. But they're good with fighting with 2 weapons. Halfling is always considered to have a minimum agility of 16 when fighting with 2 weapons. This means he rolls at -1 die for his first attack and second based on the dice chain. A halfling can fight with 2 equal-sized one-handed weapons, such as 2 hand axes or 2 short swords. When fighting with 2 weapons, a halfling scores a crit and automatic hit on any roll of a natural 16. If the halfling has an agility score higher than 16, blah, blah, blah. And he fumbles only if both dice come up as 1. They get infravision up to 30 feet. They're small. They are good at stealth. They receive a bonus to sneaking silently and hiding in shadows, depending on their class level, which is at level 1, it's a +3 to sneaking and hiding, which is pretty nice. And they're good luck charms, so they double the bonus of a luck check. For every 1 point of luck burned, they get +2 to their roll. They restore luck each night by a number of points equal to their level, which is pretty awesome. So you're pretty much encouraged, at least from level 1, to burn at least 1 point of luck every day. And you can also expend luck to aid allies. So the halfling can burn luck and apply it to ally rolls. And it can be applied to any roll made by any ally. An ally. Attack rolls, damage rolls, saves, spell checks, thief skills, so on. So yeah, I don't know. What are the rules for two-handed combat then? Oh, okay. So if you have a 16 or 17 agility, your primary hand die is -1 die. Offhand is -1 die. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, yeah, you don't need a second action die or anything. You roll twice, but you're generally going to roll... If you have a high agility, you're rolling with a d16 twice, and then either one can hit. So halflings are just really good at dual wielding. We don't have any character. The moneylender could fight. His main hand would be a d16, and then the offhand would be d14. And he could never crit. It's not really great. But if I made him a halfling, he would be slightly better at it. Yeah, okay. Alright, so what are our classes then? What is the moneylender going to be? Well, he has an 18 personality, and that means that I probably want to make him a cleric. Because they use their personality modifier for their spellcasting checks. So, yeah, I think that's the best bet. Because the cleric is, you know, can be a very good frontliner. They get D8 hit points per level. They can wear any armor. Spell checks are not hindered by its use. And they get weapon training based on their deity that they pick. Which is probably stuff like maces and warhammers and things like that. So he's going to be a cleric. The confidence artist has 15 intelligence and 16 strength. He would make for a really good elf if he was an elf, but he's not. So he's probably just going to be a wizard just because he's our best bet. And mostly because I really want to have a wizard because the spell system is really fun. So I think he's going to be a wizard. Wizards can use longswords. Because Gandalf used a longsword. That's always the archetypical response. Yeah, I mean, he's not good for much. And I don't know if I really am going to have him in a frontline capacity in any way. So the strength doesn't really factor in too much. But yeah, he's going to be our... He's going to be our wizard. Then we have the hunter. He doesn't shine in any capacity whatsoever. So he can kind of be anything. I don't know if I want to make him a thief. So I might just make him a warrior, even though he's not going to be super good at it. But, I mean, there's not many options, right? Like, there's the wizard, the cleric, the thief, or the warrior. So I guess he's probably going to be the warrior. And just not be very good at it. And then there's the halfling mariner. Honestly, he has a 17 luck score. So I'm tempted to just make him a halfling. I wish we had a character with really good agility. The moneylender is just kind of stacked. Like, the moneylender could have been a lot of different classes. You don't need high agility to be a thief. I don't think that's like a specific prerequisite. But obviously, like, a thief does do quite a few agility checks. You know, a lot of this is based around that. Yeah, okay. I think he's going to be a thief then. Because I think we want to have a thief. So there we have it. So, the moneylender is going to be a cleric. So we're going to save that. No, a cleric. The confidence artist is going to be our wizard. The hunter is going to be our warrior. And the mariner is going to be our thief. Oops. There you go. Okay, so what's all involved then in leveling up? So hit points. So you get to roll your class hit points, and that's in addition to whatever hit points you have now. So for our cleric, we're adding 1d8. We're just going to roll that up. 6. So he goes from 3 to 9 hit points. Let's put that in right there. The wizard's going to get d4. 3. So he goes up to 4 hit points. Not great. The hunter gets a d12. Boom. 10. 13 hit points. Very nice. And the thief gets, what is it? d6. 1. Ouch. That's going to be a painful one. Yeah, there's no way around it. That's the way it is. Okay. Then, yeah, so cleric. At first level, a cleric selects a god to worship, and in doing so chooses one side of the eternal struggle. We are lawful, so we're going to be praying to a lawful god. Must match your alignment. Determines weapon groups, holy powers, and magical spells. May choose from the gods shown on page 32, which is this. So here's our lawful options. The god of the moon, god of war, god of peace, lord of creation, greater god of earth and industry, god of valor and chivalry, goddess of justice and mercy, demigoddess of trucing and strategy. Now, I believe these all... No, maybe it doesn't. It should matter a little bit. Says cleric has access to the spells of his god as noted on table 1.5. I don't see... Okay. Okay. Cleric can call upon the favor of his god. This form of magic is known as idle magic. Its successful use allows the cleric to channel his god's power as a magical spell. To cast a spell, a cleric makes a spell check. The spell check is made like any other check. Roll 1d20 plus your personality modifier plus your caster level. If you succeed, his god attends to his request. If the cleric fails, he risks disapproval. His god is preoccupied, annoyed, or facing its own battle, or questions the cleric's use of its power. Natural 1 means disapproval. Check automatically fails, and the cleric must roll on the disapproval table. Each failed spell check increases the chance of disapproval. So, after you fail, it goes from 1 to 2. Or 1 or 2. So then, 1 or 2 means disapproval. And then after that, it goes to 1 to 3. Blah, blah, blah. Cleric who fails 12 spell checks in a day would automatically fail any future spell check on a roll of 1 through 13, even though a roll of 13 would normally mean success on first level spells. Once it increases beyond natural 1, he can reduce that range by offering sacrifices to his deity. You can also sin against your deity, blah, blah, blah. That increases your disapproval range. Could be +1 for minor infractions all the way up to +10 for significant transgression. These additional penalties are always at the judge's discretion. I mean, it's a very fun system. I like that. A cleric may make sacrifices to his deity in order to regain favor. In general, any offering of material wealth counts. Other acts may count as well at the discretion of the judge. Sacrificing wealth means the items must be burned, melted down, donated to the needy, contributed to a temple, or otherwise relieved from the character's possession. For every 50 gold pieces of sacrificed goods, a cleric cancels 1 point of normal disapproval range. Great deed, quest, or service to a deity may also count. So we also get Turn Unholy. You may utilize a spell check to deter unholy creature. And for us, unholy is undead, demons, devils, chaotic, extraplanar creatures, monsters, such as basilisks or Medusa, chaos primes, chaotic humanoids, such as orcs, even. That's crazy. And chaotic dragons. Okay, we can also lay on hands. By making a spell check, cleric may lay on hands to heal damage to any living creature. Must physically touch, concentrate for 1 action. Damage healed varies according to several factors. It's always a number of dice, with the type of dice determined by the hit die of the creature to be healed. For example, a warrior uses a d12, so a warrior would be healed with d12 dice. Interesting. Number of dice healed cannot exceed the target's hit dice or class level. Finally, before rolling a spell check, the cleric may elect to heal a specific condition instead of hit points, such as broken limbs, organ damage, disease, paralysis, poison, blindness, or deafness. So at level 1, we can only really do broken limbs, which is pretty significant. Alignment also influences results. If we're of the same alignment, count as same on the table below. For differ by 1 step, we're adjacent. Such a healing action may constitute sin if not done in service of the faith. And if we're of opposed alignment, count as opposed. Such a healing almost always counts as a sin unless it is an extraordinary event in the service of the deity. Interesting. That means that healing the confidence artist would be kind of tricky. Maybe he wouldn't be chaotic. I don't know. That seems like a pretty big... That seems like a pretty big penalty. So we'll just be neutral. Alright. So... Right, so at level 1, it doesn't really matter. We just need a 12 or higher. And then we get to heal... So we'd heal the Confidence Artist for D4. We'd heal the Hunter for a D12. The Warrior for a D12. We'd heal the Thief for D6. I assume we can also heal ourselves. It doesn't say you can't heal yourself. So, you know. It says you may lay on hands to heal damage to any living creature. And you yourself are a living creature. If you don't want to be able to heal yourself, you should say that. So that's very powerful. Because we're rolling +4. We have a caster level of 1, +3 personality mod. So, yeah, +4. So on an 8 or higher, we heal your hit die. That's pretty powerful healing. That's a big boost to our survivability that we didn't have at level 0. We also have Divine Aid. We can beseech our deity for Divine Aid. Beneficent followers are already rewarded with spells and the ability to turn the unholy, so it must be recognized that requesting direct intervention is an extraordinary act. You have to make a spell check. This extraordinary act imparts a cumulative +10 penalty to future disapproval range. Jesus, that's really like a desperation thing. Based on the result of the spell check, the judge will describe the results. Simple requests such as lighting a candle are DC 10. Extraordinary requests such as summon and controlling a living column of flame are DC 18 or higher. Okay, so that's your Hail Mary play as a cleric, is just directly beseeching your god. I think that's awesome. But yeah, that is a last resort. Also, your luck modifier applies to all spell checks to turn unholy creatures. That's pretty nice. Right, so he can use... we should actually name our characters now. So our moneylender is going to be named Basilicus. His title is Acolyte. The wizard, confidence artist, is going to be named, I don't know, Schmendrick. Probably not how you spell it. The hunter warrior is going to be named Gorso. And the halfling mariner thief is going to be named, I'm going to make it a female named Thala. Okay. Alright. So that doesn't really tell us the spells that we have available as a cleric. Like, I still am not clear on that. A lot of hullabaloo about wizard spells. Much wizard spell. We'll get to that in a second. But I just want to know about cleric spell. I have no idea. Normally, I guess you have access to, like, all the cleric spells of your level. But I don't know, I might have to look this up. I normally have clerics randomly know their spells. I have my players choose half their spells for the cleric characters, and I choose the other half based on their deity. Why is this not defined in the fucking rulebook? That's insanity. Okay. So some people let you choose if it fits your deity. Some go full random. Some go half random. There's no guidelines. Okay. I could see doing half random, half pick. How many do we get here? We get 4 spells of the 11. Okay. So let's do 2 random and 2 pick. Okay, so we're going to do the random ones first. So we're going to roll a d11 twice. We got 11 and 7. So we know word of command and paralysis. Drag in a spell item from the items compendium. Yeah, I wish I had that. That would be really handy. Okay. Word of command. Compendium would be pretty handy, but we'll work with what we got. For now, let's just add our spells. Paralysis. Okay, now we're going to pick 2 others. I think Blessing has to be picked. That seems like way too good of a spell. If I know clerics. And then, maybe Protection from Evil. Maybe Holy Sanctuary. I probably should look at these spells over. I don't know. Food of the Gods could be good. How do I know? Spell either makes an edible food edible or magically creates viands when no other food and drink is available. Holy Sanctuary invokes a place of sanctuary where he and his allies are safe from harm. Okay, that could be good. Protection from evil. He's protected even if he's not aware of the danger. Definition of evil is based on the cleric. Okay. Okay. There's a few good options here. Alright, let's go with Holy Sanctuary. Okay. So, as you can see, spells are lengthy. You get this giant, like, each spell is a full fucking page in the rulebook, which is very unusual. But that's because it's very much, the result of your spell is entirely based on your spell casting check. So let's look at Blessing, for example, which is a very lengthy, it's 3 pages for one spell. So when you cast Blessing, you target either yourself, an ally, or an object. It says that casting a spell on a target with a different alignment incurs -1 penalty to the spell check. An opposing alignment is a -2 penalty. Blessings cast under auspicious circumstances receive a bonus of +1 to +4 according to the judge's discretion. Such circumstances include casting in the Temple of the Cleric's God, casting on a sacred holiday, or casting with the use of a holy relic. Casting under inauspicious circumstances, such as in an unholy enemy temple, receive a penalty ranging from -1 to -4. Okay, so a lot of things can affect the spell casting check. But let's say you cast it on an ally. You roll your spell casting check, which, if you have no bonuses or penalties, for us it's +4. If you roll a 1 to 11 on the result, nothing happens. You fail. Okay? And your disapproval range goes up by 1. If you roll a 1, you know, you fail and you get disapproval. If you roll a 12 to 13, the ally receives +1 bonus to all attack rolls for 1 round. Not bad, but not amazing. Also, this is a touch spell, so you have to touch them to do it. You roll a 14 to 17, which at our point is kind of unlikely. They get a +1 bonus to all attack rolls for 1 turn, which is 10 minutes, which is pretty nice. If you roll an 18 to 19, they get a +1 bonus to all attack rolls, damage rolls, saving throws, skill checks, and spell checks for 1 turn. Get a 20 to 23. They get a +2 bonus to all attack rolls, damage rolls, saving throws, skill checks, spell checks for 1 turn. It's getting pretty strong. 24 to 27. They get a 1d3 plus character or plus caster level bonus to all attack rolls, damage rolls, saving throws, skill checks, spell checks for 1 turn. So that could be at our level a +4 for 10 minutes, which is insanely good. Of course, I'd have to roll a 20 for that to be applied, but still. 28 to 29, which is kind of not feasible at level 1. Basically the same thing as the other effect, but in addition, the ally radiates a holy aura. Allies within 5 feet of the ally receive the same blessing as long as they remain within the aura. 30 to 31. The ally receives a bonus to all attack rolls, damage rolls, blah, 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 blah. Basically the same thing, but it's a 10-foot aura. And then 32 or higher, same thing, but it's a 20-foot aura. So the bonus never goes up above 1d3 plus caster level, but your caster level goes up. So eventually that could be a very, very nice bonus. Like, it's a pretty powerful fucking spell. And you can see how it just scales really nicely from, like, level 1 on, you know? And so, yeah, the thing with the caster, the cleric is, like, we don't lose spells, really. Like, we can get disapproval, which is bad, but at starting at level 1, you know, we go into a dungeon, it's just like, okay, well, let's get everybody blessed. You know, for the next 10 minutes. 10 minutes is not that long in an actual dungeon crawl, though. Like, 10 minutes is the time that it takes you to go, like, down a hallway or from one room to another room, usually. So it'd more be like, we're about to go into this room, we know there's something in there, let me bless everybody. And so you just keep rolling this, you know, over and over. And yeah, if we roll a 6 or lower, no, if we roll a 7 or lower at level 1 here, we're gonna fail and our disapproval range goes up. But still, I mean, odds are good that you'll get at least a 12 to 13, which doesn't really help. It's 1 round. we want to get that 1 turn thing. But yeah, I mean, you have a 50-50 shot, or a 55% chance, really, of getting the +1 to all attack rolls for 1 turn, which is not amazing, but hey, you might even get the +1 to all spell checks. I guess it would behoove you to start with yourself, because on yourself, if you get a 14 to 17, you get +1 to all spell checks and everything else for 1 turn. You get an 18 to 19, you get +2 to spell checks for 1 turn, and that turns it into a +6 for us. So yeah, we can just keep casting it over and over. But you do risk raising your disapproval range by doing that. But yeah, so it's a very fun system, and we'll look at some wizard spells and stuff that are going to be also even more fun. So that's Blessing. That's going to certainly be quite a useful spell for us. Holy Sanctuary. We basically are casting it on ourselves. 1 to 11 is failure. 12 to 13. All attacks against the cleric for the next round suffer a -2 penalty. It takes up your action to do this, so it's not really a great effect, but it's better than failure, and it's kind of nice. 14 to 17. Enemies are compelled to focus their attacks against other targets than the cleric. In order to resist this compulsion and attack cleric, an enemy must make a will save versus spell check DC. If the cleric is the only reasonable target, creature need not make a save to attack the cleric. This effect lasts for 1 turn, 10 minutes. It is immediately dispelled if the cleric attacks or takes aggressive action in any way. It's kind of situational for sure, but yeah. 18 and 19 basically changes it so the will save is required even if the cleric is the only reasonable target. So you could just kind of walk through enemy numbers. A will save versus the spell check DC of like 18 or 19. That's pretty tough for a lot of like level 1 or level 2 enemies, 2 hit die enemies to be. Like if you look at Gallus, he had a will save of +2. That means he'd have to roll a 16 or higher just to try to hit you. That's pretty great. 20 to 23. Creatures of 3 hit dice or less cannot attack the cleric in any way. Creatures of 4 hit dice or more may attempt a will save to resist the compulsion and attack the cleric. Really pretty powerful for the cleric to just walk through. And this isn't like only against unholy targets or anything like that. Like it's any enemy that would do harm to you. So yeah, it can be really good. Once you get past that though, then it extends to anybody next to you as well. 20 to 29, you may designate a place as a holy sanctuary. Must be a single building or self-contained location up to 5,000 square feet in area, and it lasts for 1d7 days. Creatures within this place share the benefit of a holy sanctuary. Enemies of less than 6 hit dice cannot attack unless they use magical weapons. Crazy. Yeah. 32 plus, 10,000 square feet in area. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Paralysis. So it's a touch spell. 1 to 11 is a failure. 12 to 13. Cleric must make a normal attack on his next round. If it succeeds, he causes normal damage, and his enemy must make a will save or be paralyzed. Unable to move or take any physical action for 1d6 plus caster level rounds. That's pretty powerful. But you have to spend an action to prepare it, and then succeed on an attack the next round. So, against a lot of things that we'd hit, it probably would die anyways, but it depends. 14 to 17, however, that charge remains for 1d4 plus caster level rounds. So any attack that we make successfully during that time... Yeah. Uh, 18 and 19, you charge your melee weapons and missile fire weapons with paralysis. 20 to 23, cleric designates one creature within 30 feet and paralyzes it with a word. If it's 2 hit dice or less, it's automatically paralyzed. 3 hit dice or more receives a will save to resist. But remember, that will save is against the spell check, which is 20 to 23. So it's really tough. 24 to 27, designate up to 3 targets within 100 feet, paralyze all of them. 4 hit dice or less automatically, 5 hit dice or more, will save. Again, 24 to 27. And it lasts for 2d6 plus caster level round. That's crazy. Just shut down 3 things. But again, this is really hard to get at low levels. $32 plus. Choose any one of the effects above. The duration of the paralysis is permanent. Paralysis can only be cured via magical means. Okay, pretty strong. And word of command. Range of 30 feet or more. Blah, blah, blah. You speak a powerful word that carries with it the commanding will of his deity. They're bound to obey. Word must be a single word, which must describe an action. For example, go, attack, retreat, speak, swim, grovel, silence, and so on. Target receives a will save to resist. If failed, it must obey the command for its next round. If the command is completely contrary to a creature's natural instinct, it receives a +4 bonus to its will save to resist. For example, commanding a desert lizard to swim, or any command of suicide. That's a pretty powerful word of command to use. That's probably the one you want to use the most often. But yeah, so they get a +4 bonus to the will save. But again, I think a lot of creatures, it's going to be... Even with a +4, it could be tough. But yeah, I guess if you roll a 12 to 13, you're probably not going for suicide. I think grovel is a powerful one, because that's basically going prone. So yeah, 1 to 11 failure, 12 to 13, one creature within 30 feet. Yeah, they have to roll 12 against 12 to 13. 14 to 17, same thing, but they have to obey it for a number of rounds equal to 1d6 plus caster level. It's crazy. 18 to 19. You may combine the word of command with a gesture that clarifies its intent. For example, attack or go with a pointed finger. 20 to 23, within 60 feet. And they have to obey the command for a number of turns, equal to 1d6 plus caster level. They're going to have to obey it for like an hour long of groveling. That's crazy. 24 to 27, you can target up to 6 creatures within 60 feet, giving the same command to all. 28 to 29, up to 1d6 targets per caster level within 200 feet. And it lasts for a number of days, equal to 1d7 plus caster level. They receive a new will save each morning. Oh my god. 30 to 31, target up to 50 targets per caster level. Yes, 50. I have to clarify, because that's so insane. They have to be within range and within line of sight. Targets of 2 hit dice or less are automatically affected. Man, you can make just an entire village just grovel at your feet or kill themselves. 32 plus. Speak a word to all targets he can see. He can exclude up to 10 targets per caster level. Targets of 3 hit dice or less are automatically affected. Damn, okay, that's also going to be a really powerful spell for us. Alright, it's exciting, isn't it? This is why I wanted to get to level 1, because we get magic, and it's very good. Okay, so that's going to be it for our cleric. I don't think there's really anything else to do there. Yeah. I guess we didn't actually pick a deity. So we should pick one of these. Let's just go with, yeah, fuck it, the god of the moon. Fine. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all correct. Okay. Next is the wizard. At first level, a wizard determines 4 spells that he knows, representing years of study and practice. This wizard knows a number of spells modified by his intelligence score. Okay. So I know 5 spells. Yeah, I mean, I suppose so, right? Okay. Known spells are determined randomly. They may be of any level for which the wizard is eligible, as shown by the max spell level column. Blah, 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 blah. And the spell check is 1d20 plus intelligence modifier plus caster level. So our intelligence is not phenomenal. He's not going to be as good of a caster as our cleric is. But he's going to give it an honest try. Okay. So, yeah, there's not much to it other than just randomly determining our spells, so let's do it. Now, there is some other stuff to do with wizard. Spell burn is a big thing. Before rolling any spell check, a wizard may declare that he will attempt spell burn. In attempting spell burn, the wizard temporarily expends points of his strength, agility, or stamina score to enhance his spell check. For every ability point he expends, the wizard adds +1 to his spell check. For example, a wizard in a life or death situation may need absolute certainty that his next spell functions. He calls to an archdemon with whom he has had past dealings. In offering the demon a share of his life force, he trades 7 points of strength to give himself a +7 bonus to his next spell check. Each day he does not attempt spell burn, he recovers 1 point of ability score. So, yes, and if you sacrifice a full 20 points of ability score in one fell swoop, you automatically treat your next spell check as a roll of a natural 20. It is pretty glorious. You can also regain spells, so you can lose spells as a wizard compared to a cleric. Yeah, so we'll get to that. So you can spell burn a number of points equal to the level of the spell. In order to recast it. Clerics can never utilize spellburn for normal spells, only under specialized circumstances the judge will specify. Okay. Mercurial magic is another thing that can occur. And you have to roll on this giant mercurial magic table. And it's modified by your luck modifier times 10%. +2 luck modifier counts as +20% on this check. Oh, no, right, yeah. No, I'm thinking of something different. So, Mercurial Magic, you have to apply for every spell you learn, because it's like a specialized effect for that spell. Yes, that's right. It's very weird. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be interesting. What is Schmendrick's luck modifier? -1. Great. Corruption is what I was thinking of. So each and every time a wizard rolls a natural 1 on a spell check, he suffers the effect of the spell failure. Moreover, his spell may misfire and he may suffer corruption. So yeah, there's minor corruption, major corruption, greater corruption, and you become this sort of gnarled mess eventually. Okay, so on and so forth. Alright, so our spells. So there's 26 options, technically. There's the 27th option is patron spell. If you have a patron, you have to have patron bond first, though. Or invoke patron. So there's pretty good chance at level 1 you're going to end up with a patron, which is, you know, sort of like a warlock patron. So we'll get to that if we roll it up. But we're going to be rolling just a d26. 5 times. 23 is going to be sleep. My favorite spell. Excellent. Okay, second. 13 is going to be Flaming Hands. Classic. Okay. Third. That is going to be Force Manipulation. Fourth. 1 is Animal Summoning. That could be handy. And 5th. 20. Read Magic. Okay. No patron for us. That's fine. Alright, next we have to roll the Mercurial Magic for all these. And they're all going to be minus 10 because of our luck. So it's a D100. 1d100 minus 10. 6. This is for Animal Summoning. Counter Magic Bubble. In the round following the casting of this spell, all other spells, including the Wizard's Own, cast within 100 feet, suffer a -4 penalty to spell checks. Okay. So, I can't really follow up Animal Summoning with any other spell. Or I don't really want to. Okay. Flaming Hands. 35. Joe Average. Instead of a d20, the caster rolls 2d10 for spell checks on this spell. If his check die is another type, he rolls 2 half dice instead. Okay. Well, yeah, so that means it's a bell curve instead. So it's going to average out to 11, which for us is going to be a 13. So our 13 is the most average result for Flaming Hands. It's not bad. We haven't really looked at the spells, but I assume that's not too terrible. A single blast of fire strikes one target within range for 1d3 points of damage. Yeah, it's not amazing. I mean, 14 to 17 is a bit better. So, had we had a higher intelligence, you know, like an 18 intelligence or something, so we had a +4 roll, like the cleric, we'd be doing 1d6 pretty reliably. As it is, it's not amazing, but that's all right. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's roll again for Force Manipulation. 53. No change. Manifest as standard. Very nice. Read Magic. A -2. Now, how does that work? I assume we... I don't know, actually. know, actually. Doesn't say anything for less than 1. Unless I'm supposed to go just default to 1. Or I re-roll or something. Who's to say, really? It sounds like I mean, this guy got the 1 effect 3 times. Yeah, it's a bit much for solo gaming, so I'm probably just gonna reroll. There you go, 65. I mean, it's read magic. How often am I going to do this anyways? Casting Circle. Spell's power can be amplified with the assistance of other wizards. For each wizard present and willing to assist the caster, casting wizard gets +1 to my spell check. Okay. Again, I don't think this will come into play too often. We're not going to run into that many other wizards. Okay. And the big one, sleep. 2. Yeesh. Extremely difficult to cast. Instead of rolling as normal, wizard rolls a die type reduced by 2 steps. That's really shitty. That really sucks. That really sucks, man. Why couldn't I get the assist on that one? Yeah, it sucks. Alright. Well, it is what it is. Let's go over our spells then. Animal Summoning. Invoke animal spirits to summon forth a mundane animal. Caster must be familiar with the animal type and have some material remnant to expend in casting the spell, such as hair, fur, paw, tooth, skull, etc. Okay. So, if we roll a 1, we lose the spell, we fail the spell, and worse, roll 1d6 modified by luck. So we could get Corruption, Misfire, Patron Taint, blah blah blah. On a 2 to 11, we lose the spell and fail. So that's losing the spell for the day. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it said that anywhere. Yeah, here. Result of loss means your character cannot cast that spell again in that day. Which is pretty good. I mean, it's sort of like Shadow Dark. You get a lot of spell casting, potentially. 12 to 13, we summon 1 mundane animal of 1 hit dice or less that remains for up to 1 hour. It obeys the caster's commands within normal bounds. Suicidal commands or those contrary to its nature have a 50% chance of releasing the animal from service. Okay. 14 to 17, summon 1 mundane animal of up to 2 hit dice, or 2 animals of 1 hit dice or less. Basically the same thing, blah, blah, blah. 18 and 19, summon 1 mundane animal of up to 2 hit dice, 2 animals 1 hit dice or less. They remain up for 2 hours. Yeah. 20 to 23, up to 4 hit dice. 2 animals of 2 hit dice, 4 animals of 1 hit dice. 2 hours. Blah, blah, blah. An animal of 4 hit dice is pretty big. That's like level 1. 24 to 27 goes up to 8 hit dice. 28 to 29, 8 hit dice. Remains for up to a day. 30 to 31 is up to 16 hit dice. And 32 plus. Summon a large group of mundane animals. This could be a herd of cattle, pride of lions, flock of geese, or a pack of wolves. Total hit dice must be 100 or less. They remain for up to a week. They'll even undertake suicidal commands or those contrary to their nature. Wow. Okay. Flaming Hands. So it's got a range of 15 feet. Produce gouts of fire from his bare hand to burn his enemies. 12 to 13 is one target for 1d3 points of damage. 14 to 17, 1d6 point of damage. 18 to 19, 1d6 plus caster level. 20 to 23, burn up to 3 targets for 1d6 plus caster level. All targets must be within 10 feet of one another. 24 to 27, 3 targets, 2d6 plus caster level. 28 to 29, create a single blast of fire 10 feet wide, 30 feet long, 3d6 plus caster level damage. 30 to 31, 2 blasts of fire 10 feet wide, 30 feet long, 3d6 plus caster level. 32 plus, can blast fire in a 360-degree arc. You can pick one wedge of 0 to 180 degrees where fire does not blast. All creatures within the affected arc out to a range of 40 feet are immolated, taking 4d10 plus caster level damage. Jesus. So again, for our purposes, most likely we're either losing the spell or doing 1d3 damage. But yeah, we might do 1d6 to one target. It's not amazing, but yeah, okay. Force Manipulation. Caster conjures and shapes invisible force energy into useful objects or barriers of a solid nature. You can choose to invoke any effect of equal to or less than your spell check, allowing a range of options. Okay, a lot of stuff here. 12 to 13. Create an apple-sized sphere of force that can be hurled as a weapon. It can be hurled immediately or remain in the wizard's hand for up to 1 round per caster level. Inflicts 1d6 damage per caster level with a range of 25 feet per caster level. So that's pretty strong, right? There's no attack roll, right? I don't know. Now I'm curious. We have to keep Googling stuff. I've never required an additional roll to hit. They cast the spell successfully, it should have an effect. Otherwise, they may as well just use a bow or something. This person definitely counts it as a throwing weapon. Otherwise, it would be too good compared to Magic Missile. Differing opinions. This person says it does require its own attack roll. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it does. I think we have to say that it does, because if you compare it to Flaming Hands right next to it, 12 to 13 Flaming Hands does 1d3 damage within 15 feet. Force Manipulation would do 1d6 damage per caster level out to 25 feet per caster level. Like, that's a hell of a lot better. So I think we have to say that it also requires a throw, which means that it's... Yeah, I mean, it's going to be iffy, especially for our Schmendrick, who doesn't have super good agility. Actually, I don't remember if we saw a throwing... rule. course there's no rules for that. Why would there be? I assume we're just counting as a missile attack, right? Yeah, I think we're just counting as a missile attack. You gotta roll a missile attack roll. That's it. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, that's definitely not nearly as good, but I think it's fair. So that's what we're working with. 14 to 17, form a floating platform of force energy 3 feet above the ground. Follows the wizard a distance of 5 feet, can be commanded to move up to 25 feet away from the wizard's position by thought alone, can carry up to 100 pounds per caster level. Yeah, okay, and the tensor's floating disc or whatever. 18 to 19, you get a tower shield-sized wall of force at a point within 25 feet, exists for 2d6 round, grants a +4 AC bonus to adjacent characters. Cannot move from where it was called into existence, but remains in existence if the caster moves out of range. That's a very vague description. Like, it's a wall of force. Can it be broken? Can it like plug a hole, or you know, like, can it be moved through in any way, or is it? I don't know. 20 to 23 creates 2 shield walls. Each also provides protection against magic missiles 50% of the time. 24 to 27 create a wall of force 10 foot square per level in size. Cannot move, but grants complete protection against all physical attacks, magic missiles, heat, cold, and lightning. The wall takes the damage inflicted by such attacks and lasts until 1d6 plus caster level turns have passed, or it has absorbed 50 points of damage. Caster cannot attack or cast spells through the wall. Okay. I guess I'd probably use those rules for the tower shield as well, if it mattered. I mean, most of the time in combat, it's a +4 AC bonus if you're next to it. But, you know me, I do some shenanigans. So I'd probably just copy those rules. That it can absorb 50 points of damage if it were attacked. It's obviously not nearly as big as this wall. 28 to 29, same wall of force, 10 feet square per level in size. Conform this wall into a spherical or hemispherical shape up to its maximum size in square feet. Lasts for 1d6 plus caster level hours have passed, or it has absorbed 100 points of damage. 30 to 31, you can form the wall into any shape you can imagine. Protects against all physical attacks, all spells, and all dragon breath. 2d6 plus caster level hours, or 150 points of damage. It's quite the wall. 32 plus is 20 feet square per level. Can be moved. Lasts for 2d6 plus caster level days, or 300 points of damage. Crazy. And you may cast the spells through the wall while enjoying its protection. Damn. Okay. Read magic. You can read magical text, such as magical scrolls, books, and tomes, as well as magical inscriptions on swords, arches, and the like. Allows comprehension, but does not activate the spell. Caster can learn the reverse of the spell called Obfuscate Magic, which renders magical text illegible. Yeah, okay, so you can read magic text. Reading a complete spell scroll typically takes 1 turn per spell level. So if you don't have this spell, you can't read scrolls. You have to roll a 14 to 17 to spend the 10 minutes to read a level 1 spell. 18 to 19 to read a level 2 spell. You can also read basic magic runes and glyphs, enough to decipher the general message of a runic alphabet spell or other rune-based inscription. It goes on from there. Okay, and then sleep, which, yes, it's going to be mostly unavailable to us, but we get a little bit of it. So it's 60-foot range. 12 to 13. One target within range must make it save or fall asleep for 1d6 turns. Target can be awakened through normal means. When casting the spell, the caster must specify an interrupt condition which automatically awakens the target. For example, being kissed by a prince, smelling the fragrance of a rose, or hearing a clock strike midnight. Caster must possess material components related to the interrupt condition. What is a material component for being kissed by a prince? I feel like I'd just pick something then that's pretty generic. Like, I don't know, I'd pick, like... I don't know, you have to have a chain rubbed under your nose or something like that. I don't know. Obviously, that matters more for the higher-end stuff that's not a normal sleep. 14 to 17. Up to 2 targets within range must save or fall asleep for 1d6 turns. They can be awakened through normal means. Yeah, it's kind of vague, because it's like, does the sound of combat awaken you? I don't know. It sounds like... I mean, it sounds like people are saying, implying that normal combat wouldn't really wake up. Now, this person says, if you're normally asleep and there's battle continuing around you, I run that as little more than being helpless for one round than starting from prone the next. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a normal sleep and there's a combat going around and above your head. So, yeah, I'd probably say, if you're doing it in the middle of a fight, it's not going to last very long at all. So I'd probably agree with that sentiment. But if someone can get over to the sleeping target within that round, it's pretty much a coup de grace. Does that exist in this game? No. Apparently not. I mean, usually it's just an automatic crit. So I guess that's probably how I'd rule it. Yeah, that's probably how I'd rule it. So still very fucking powerful, no doubt. 18 to 19 up to 3 targets. Save or fall asleep for 1d4 hours, blah, blah, blah. 20 to 23 up to 4 targets can fall for 1d6 hours, or 1 target can be placed in a supernatural sleep, which can only be disrupted via dispel magic or similar cancellation effects. You still have to have the specific condition, but yeah. That's a pretty big one, because that is basically just like a boss fucking killer. 24 to 27, 8 targets for 1d7 days, or 1 target for 1d3 days with no saving throw. Jeez. 28 to 29, with a range of 200 feet, caster can place a single target into a supernatural ongoing endless sleep with no saving throw, or normal ongoing sleep with a save to a group of up to 16 targets. 30 to 31, all unfriendly creatures within a 200 feet radius must make a saving throw or fall asleep. That's interesting. It says the sleep is natural and the targets can be awakened with normal means. Rough shaking, water on the face, etc. That's interesting they specify it there. And don't mention the sound of combat. rough shaking just to wake you up? I don't know, it's hard to say. 32 plus. All creatures within 500 yards fall asleep. Creatures of 4 or fewer hit dice receive no save. Affected creatures include birds, insects, and small animals, as well as people. Both friendly and unfriendly creatures are affected. Plants are also affected. And it's supernatural in aspect and cannot be disturbed. The affected world continues to slumber until a specific interrupt condition occurs, such as a new moon rising or 100 years have passed. Only powerful magic can end the effect sooner. That's insane. So sleep is an amazing spell, and the one time I have played Dungeon Crawl Classics above a funnel, so I was level 1, we basically decided we wanted to take over this small village. Like, we wanted to take ownership of it. We didn't like the Jarl and how he was running things. So I of course was playing a wizard, and I ended up with the sleep spell, and basically the master plan came down to meeting with the Jarl and all of his like guards in his hall, you know, in his little town hall building or whatever. So they were all in there, and I walked in and I spell burned like everything I had. Like I dropped like my strength, agility, and stamina down to like 3 each. So I spell burned everything. And I'm pretty sure I ended up rolling this 28 to 29 thing, so that I put all of them into asleep. Because there weren't that many. I mean, there was probably like a dozen of them total. So I put them all to sleep, and we just went around and like slit all their throats, and that was the end of it. And we took ownership of the town. So yeah, there was just one massive sleep spell that worked out in our favor. I mean, they all got a save, but like they have to will save 28 versus 20 to 29. Like, you're not doing that. I mean, even if the DM allows a 20 to be an automatic success, that's still a 5% chance that they'll make it. So yeah, it worked. I mean, it fucking worked. And it was glorious, so I love that. For our purposes, we have to roll a d14 on this spell. So, yeah, I mean, it pretty much means that we can't really ever get, without spell burn, we can't ever get to an 18 or 19. So it's pretty much mostly going to be a combat-related thing that we can maybe do some coup de graces on a couple targets if we finagle it. It's still going to be a very useful spell, but it's a bummer, because it is, like, the best spell. Alright, that's pretty much it for Schmendrick the Wizard. I know this is taking a long time, but we're getting to the fun stuff, so it's all good. Gorso is our warrior, so that's going to be a lot simpler, except I have to go over Mighty Deeds. Right, so warriors get a deed die. At level 1, this is a D3. The warrior rolls this D3 on each attack roll and applies it to both his attack roll and damage roll. So, yes, you get a D3 bonus to your attack roll and damage roll on all attacks. That is a big benefit of being a warrior. And this goes up, of course, as you level up based on this table here. So, in level 2, it's a D4. Level 5, it's a D7. Level 8, it's a D10 plus 2. It's very nice. When you roll multiple attacks, same deed die applies to all attacks in the same round. There's also the Mighty Deed of Arms. Warriors earn their gold with pure physical prowess. They swing across chapels on chandelier chains, bash through iron-banded oaken doors, and leap over chasms in pursuit of their foes. When locked in mortal melee, their Mighty Deeds of Arms turn the course of battle. A brazen bull rush to push back the enemy lines, a swinging flail to entangle the beastman's sword arm, or a well-placed dagger through the enemy knight's visor. Prior to any attack roll, a warrior can declare a Mighty Deed of Arms, or for short, a deed. This deed is a dramatic combat maneuver within the scope of the current combat. For example, a warrior may try to disarm an enemy with his next attack, or trip the opponent, or smash him backward to open access to a nearby corridor. The deed does not increase damage, but could have some other combat effect, pushing back an enemy, tripping or entangling him, temporarily blinding him, and so on. So, it's based off of your deed die. If the deed die is a 3 or higher and the attack lands, the deed succeeds. So at level 1, you have to, you have a 33% chance of landing this Mighty Deed of Arms. But at later levels, when you're rolling D10 plus 2, you're guaranteed, as long as you hit the target, to succeed on this Mighty Deed of Arms. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do. It's very freeform. It's, like Tales of Argosa basically took this and turned it into minor exploits and stuff. And major exploits. And so they give you some suggestions and ideas and examples. So here's taken from real games. When fighting opponents on a staircase, the character uses a sword to stab an opponent and then lever him over the edge of the staircase. Later, the same character tried attacking the foe's legs to knock him over the edge. When facing a carven image with eyes that shot laser beams, the character used a mace to smash out the carved eyes and thus disable the laser beams. In another game, a different player tried a similar attack to stab out the eyes of a basilisk and disarm its hypnotic gaze. When fighting a flying skull that was out of melee reach, a character leaped from the back of an ally into a flying lunge that brought him within reach of a melee swing at the skull. When hurling flasks of burning oil at a giant toad, the warrior aimed for the toad's open mouth to throw the oil down its gullet. When fighting enemies arrayed in a single file line, a character hurled a javelin and tried to spear both of the front 2 enemies. The warrior impaled the first enemy, then speared the second, in effect pinning the second enemy to his ally's corpse. When fighting a chaos beast with a scorpion tail, a character attempted to chop off the tail. And they give, in the combat section, a bunch of examples. Blinding attacks, like throwing pocket sand, of course, disarming attacks, pushing back, trips, throws, precision shots, rallying maneuvers, defensive maneuvers, weapon-specific stuff, such as reducing armor class, tripping, mounted charges. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's something I'm very familiar with from Tales of Argosa with minor exploits, and Mighty Deeds of Arms is one of the best aspects of DCC, because it makes a warrior just far more interesting to play than, normal sort of old school gaming. Warriors also crit on 19 to 20 at level 1. They add their class level to their initiative roll, and their luck modifier applies to attack rolls with one specific kind of weapon. Doesn't really matter for Gorso at all. He's not going to be a particularly amazing warrior or anything, but he'll be okay, and he's going to stick with the spear, I think. 19 plus. We'll say spears in case his luck ever goes up, but yeah. Yeah, there's a whole sort of section here on how to add the Mighty Deed die for your rolls. Why is this not like a button? I should have +1. Oh, level 1. There you go. Yeah, they all should be level 1. So, okay, so this should be plus 1d3. Yeah, that'll do it. It's like a really old looking character sheet that they replaced, so that's great. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Seems right. Yeah. And if I roll this, yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay. All right, that works. That's all fine. Yes. I mean, that's kind of it, right? Yeah, pretty simple. So he'll be fine. And then the thief. So it sort of depends on your alignment. Thala is a neutral thief. So neutral thieves are double agents. The kindly housekeeper who filches valuable baubles while the master sleeps, the inside man who leaves the vault unlocked one night, or the urban spy who sells secrets to his court's enemies. They get thieves' cant as a language, blah blah blah. And they get thieves' skills, of course. So that's based on this table here. So Path of the Swindler. So at level 1, we get a +3 bonus to sneak silently, pickpockets, climb sheer surfaces, and forge documents. We get a +1 to hide in shadows, pick locks, find traps, disable traps. And then a +0 to backstabbing, disguise self, read languages, handle poison. Yeah, that's it. And we have a D12 for casting a spell from a scroll. Show. We can... I don't know why I wouldn't apply this automatically. It's kind of annoying. So yes, there is a difference in old school gaming between sneaking silently and hiding in shadows, which is, yeah, one of the worst things about old school thieves. So stupid. But, I mean, there is a difference. So sneaking silently is like sneaking up on unsuspecting guards and making a backstab attempt, stuff like that. Or moving across an area without being heard. Hiding in shadows is for literally, you know, hiding so no one sees you. Is often used before a backstab attempt. The thief can attempt to hide in broad daylight should he be so bold. But then it says the base DC for sneaking down a hallway with moderate cover is DC 10. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. It's weird. I don't really know how it works. Backstab. When attacking a target from behind or when the target is otherwise unaware, the thief receives the indicated attack bonus to his attack roll. In addition, if he hits, the thief automatically achieves a critical hit rolling on the crit table as per his level. So, yeah, all thieves crit if they hit on an unaware target. The backstab bonus is just a bonus to attack roll. So the chaotic thieves would get a +3 to that at level 1, which is pretty significant. Our thief is not really good at that at all, which is annoying. But I suppose I don't do much backstabbing when I play solo. There's also picking pockets, obvious. Climb sheer surfaces. Yep. Picking locks. Mundane lock is DC 10. Finding traps, disabling traps. Forging documents, disguising yourself. Reading languages that you don't understand. Handling poisons. And casting a spell from a scroll. They're all pretty obvious, I suppose. The only one that's really just funky is sneaking silently and hiding in shadows. We get a +3 to pickpocket. We get a +3 to climbing sheer surfaces. +1 to pick locks. +1 to find traps. +1 to disable traps. +3 to forge die. A neutral thief is basically like the worst kind of thief, I think. Like the least valuable for going into a big dungeon. Fucking +3 to forge documents. Alright. yeah, so that's that. Oh, also the luck die thing. So, whenever we burn luck, instead of adding +1, we get to add a luck die for each one, which at level 1 is a D3. So for every luck point we burn, we get to add +1 D3 to the roll. And we restore a number of luck points equal to our level each night. So yeah, that is a big factor for our thief, is burning that luck, of which they have 17. So yeah, don't hesitate when on an important roll to burn some luck. We will try to get it back pretty easily. So that's that. I think I also have to adjust these for everybody. That wasn't automatic, which is annoying, but I think we're pretty much done with our characters. There's still some gear adjustments we're going to want to make before we head to the Caverns of Thracia, but this was good enough, and this took longer than I thought it would. But I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to cast some spells and stuff. I'm especially excited for our cleric, the Wunderkind Basilicus. He's going to do some great work for us. Very excited. Alright, good stuff. I don't really know exactly how this one leads into Caverns of Thracia too well. The only thing that mentioned it at all was this one room. I thought there would be a section at the conclusion of the adventure that would be like, well, you're gonna want to go here to do this, but it didn't seem to mention that at all. So I don't think it's a great funnel to lead into Caverns. And now my PDF reader froze. I mean, it ties into the lore a little bit, but I don't think it's like a great lead-in. Like, you could run sort of anything as a funnel to lead into this. And like I said, I don't consider this to be a phenomenal funnel in general. Okay, so it says here, contains instructions from someone calling themselves the Coiled Vizier of the Scaled Dominion, ordering Cursobleptes to steal the Resurrection Stone. He's further instructed to rendezvous with a small group intending to raid remaining Thracian artifacts. Detailed instructions of where to find the Caverns of Thracia are included. It's really not much of an impetus, like, for the players, but I guess it's like, hey, there's more stuff like this, and there's apparently, like, you know, the big remnants of the Thracian kingdom. Here's directions. It's like, okay, I guess we'll go there, because that's where the DM wants us to go. Like, yeah, I think the whole thing could be better. I'm not overly impressed with it, but yeah. Which makes me, I don't know. I think you can't play a DCC campaign without doing the funnel. So if I was going to run Caverns of Thracia for my family, I would do a funnel. I don't know if it would be this one. I feel like you could tie all sorts of funnels into the Caverns at least as much as this one does, if not more. But alright, that's it. Next time we will start Caverns of Thracia properly with our level 1 party and see how it goes. For now, though, my name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging. I'll see you fine folks in the next part.